in public opinion polls, when Americans were asked in 1987, 88, what's the biggest threat to the United States, they would generally answer Japan's economy, not the Soviet nuclear missiles. And when people were asked, can you trust Japan, the results were usually 20 to 25% who said yes. And Japanese politicians were afraid to use the word dome, alliance, to describe the relationship with the United States. And this was at a time when we had the Soviet Union sitting right in front of us both. So a lot of people predicted, given all of this, when the Cold War ends, the US-Japan alliance is going to fall apart. That was pretty much the mainstream logic of the academics in both the US and Japan. Professor Cha, myself, Sheila Smith, others were in a small minority who of course, turned out to be right about the future of the alliance. Today, in opinion polls, when Americans are asked, what country do you trust the most? It depends on the polling, but at the German Marshall Fund or Chicago Council on Global Affairs or Pew polling, in general, Americans say they trust Britain, Canada, Australia, Japan. Japan usually comes in ahead of every ally that's not an Anglo-speaking, English-speaking ally from World War I and II. Remarkable change. When people were asked in the Chicago Council poll, which I worked on, what countries do you trust to do free trade agreements among those that we don't have them with right now? Japan came in #1. When people were asked, do you support free trade, over half said no. Would you support a free trade agreement with Japan? Over half said yes. So it's a remarkable transition. Our navies now talk about each other as navies. You know, my friends in the US Navy don't talk about the MSDF, they talk about the Japanese Navy. Our intelligence sharing is better. In the Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP, the media, Nikkei Shimbun and others tried desperately to make this, you know, a clash of American and Japanese economic models. It's quite obvious in the rounds of negotiations now underway that the US and Japan are on the same side in 95% of the issues. Because we both have a stake in our investments in China and Southeast Asia and elsewhere. So it's a remarkable change. It was remarkable that enemies became allies the way we did after World War II, and it's equally remarkable that at the end of the Cold War, the alliance became stronger.